Right, let's do question 6b2. There are 20 treats in a box, 10 are chocolates and 10 are marshmallows. Nelson randomly selects two treats without replacement. Determine the probability that the two treats are different. Right, we have to use our tree diagram that we managed to draw in the previous question, on question 6b1. But before we go there, I want us just to discuss on how we find the probabilities using a tree diagram. We're going to use our example of tossing two coins. Right. If you toss two coins, we can get a tree diagram, or our tree diagram is like this. So now, if I'll say, what is the probability of getting probability of heads and heads? Or probability of heads and tails, probability of tails and heads, probability of tails and tails. You see that? So now what do? We multiply across the branch. So like this one here, probability of heads and heads. We multiply the probabilities here, half times half. Okay, it's going to be half times half, which is equals to 1 over 4. You see that? And then probability of heads and tails, same thing. You see probability of heads and tails. We multiply across the branch. Half times half is going to be 1 over 4 again. And then probability of tails and heads. Right, we multiply the probabilities, which is half times half. You see that? And then which is 1 over 4. And then the last one, probability of tails and tails. Probability of tails and tails is going to be this half times half here. And then we're getting 1 over 4. Okay, this is how you get the probabilities. You multiply across the branch. You multiply across the branch. Right. And then now let's say I say what is the probability? What is the probability of getting heads and heads, or tails and tails? Okay. The probability of getting heads and heads, or tails and tails. So when you are given such, you have to look at the branches that you need, or the probabilities that you need. So we need heads and heads, or tails and tails here. So we say this is the probability of getting heads and heads, which is equals to 1 over 4. And then say this one, probability of getting tails and tails. If you have these different properties like this, you add them. If you get probabilities from different branches, you add them. So we say the probability of getting heads and heads, or tails and tails, is going to be 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4, which is equals to half, because 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4 is 2 over 4. Right. So now we've discussed, let's go back to our question. There are 20 treats in a box. 10 are chocolates and 10 are marshmallows. Nielsen randomly selects two treats without replacement. Determine the probability that the two treats are different. Different. So it means we want a situation where we have a marshmallow and chocolate, or chocolate and marshmallow. Marshmallow and chocolate, or chocolate and marshmallow. You see that? So which branches are we interested in here? Is these two branches. You see that? And then probability of marshmallow and chocolate is going to be 10 over 20 times 10 over 19. And then the probability of chocolate and marshmallow is going to be 10 over 20 times 10 over 19. You see that? Okay. Now, what do we need to do to find the probability of marshmallow and chocolate, or chocolate and marshmallow. Right, so we are going to add these two probabilities. 10 over 20 times 10 over 19 plus 10 over 20 plus 10 over 19. So you can use your calculator here, or we can just use basic maths, which is you can factor out 10 over 20 here, and then we have 10 over 19 plus 10 over 19. We factored out the common factor, which is 10 over 20, and then but you can also use your calculator here. You must get the same answer, right? And then it becomes 10 over 20, and then 20 over 19. Then 20 divided by 20 is 1. We remain with 10 over 19. But even if you use your calculator, we must get the same answer. Okay, we're done. I really hope that you managed to learn something here. We're going to meet in our next question.